scary. So we got the scary movie. Insidious The Red Door is a jumpy, scary, suspenseful, scary movie continuing and ending the epic conclusion from the Lombard storyline from the Insidious franchise. After Dalton goes to college and gets an assignment from his professor asking him to dig deeper into his past so he can mask an unknown painting, he unwillingly and unknowingly draws the red door, and he opens the door for demonic and evil forces to take possess of his body and his family, wreaking havoc of the Insidious franchise. 10 years have passed since Dalton was in the AKA coma, as they regard it into film, and him and his father has to face the demonic forces once again, or the further will take them down in an epic conclusion battle. It picks up 9 years where the first 2 installments left off, so I know there was prequels, there was sequels, and there was requels and like spin-offs in the Insidious franchise. However, this is with the Lombard family, so this is really time for the first 2, especially the second one was a bizarre ending, so it does tackle that ending, but years down the line. I'm gonna be very honest with you guys, I've always loved Insidious franchise movies. I remember when the first one came out, I was up in the sky and I went to AMC theaters, the same theater, and I was like, oh my god, this is new horror, jumpy scares, the way they use the camera work, the way they did the sound effects, especially everyone was like raving about it. And then the second one came out, like Insidious to me was top tier franchise along with Conjuring and Exorcist. So to me, I was very excited when they did the epic conclusion, but I'm gonna be very honest with you, it doesn't hit those highs as the previous installments, and I'm sorry to be weird, but it's probably the weakest and the less scariest of the franchise. Just being very honest, this is just my opinion, but here, let's talk about it. This movie doesn't hit those highs as the other ones, but I do have love and respect the movies, for theaters, for scary stuff in the franchise, but it's just, when you're talking about the epic conclusion for the Insidious franchise, you should go out with the bang. And this one, yes, does have its high moments and some jumpy scares and some creepy moments. However, I feel like even the ones that came before would just hit such high bars that how do you tackle perfection? Yes, it's still a good movie and we'll talk about it why, but even when I saw it, I was like, wow, like I usually in the theater was like, oh my god, I'm scared, demonic, the hell. This left me feeling like, oh wow, like I can conquer the day, which is not a feeling that I had with the other ones. This concludes the story of the Lombard family. However, there is noted that spin-offs are on the way. This also is Patrick Wilson's directorial debut, so now he's not only in front of the cameras, he's also behind it, so maybe that's why the movie isn't as good, because he had to do so many things. But at the same time, isn't that no excuse, because Michael B. Jordan did his directorial debut and Creed 3 in IMAX, and that was an amazing movie. So I don't know, maybe it was just too many things, but at the same time, Insidious franchise is like hitting these so many highs at all the time, and sometimes, yes, you have some of the characters from the reprising cast members from previous installments in the same like movie. However, they get significantly less screen time and they're not even together like they did in the other movies. Look, let's be honest, this does tackle my fears, and even before watching the movie, I was telling people, should I go? Like, I'm scared, I don't want the devil to like, oh, consume and like blah blah blah. Like, I was really scared because this does tackle my fears, my personal fears as hell, demonic, scary forces, possession, like stuff like this. But then I play Diablo and I go out and have martinis, so then I'm just like, you know what? I'm still gonna tackle my fears, and I'm glad that I did it because it's the less scariest that I felt in front of the franchise. It's because I've seen, if you've been with me in this journey, you've seen the other Insidious films, you know what they can be. And for this to hit, it's such a different level of scariness and dimensions. Yes, it still uses those previous aspects such as the further, the astral projections, family dynamics. However, it really switches it up and doesn't do anything to fill the void. Here, let me explain. One thing that made the Insidious franchise so well, especially the first 2, is the core family dynamic. Patrick Wilson, Rose, Dalton, together all in this house. The one thing the movie did well was they brought the further, which is the astral projection. When you go to sleep, you see your body, you walk around, there's demonic forces. That still applies, but in a college setting, which to me is a plus, because now we get to get out of the house. Now we get to see, oh, what it's doing on campus. There's other students. Can they get hurt? But I felt like it didn't even go that far, because they could have used the pool, they could have used the training room. They only used like one building. And yes, I get it, you know, it's horror, like we're supposed to take the movie for what it was, but I just felt like that was a movie's missed opportunity to do that the further with other students in like random places in college dorm that have no idea what, like, oh my gosh, this is the further. Because you know how college students are, they're drinking, they're partying, they're like, oh my gosh, the devil doesn't exist, which in reality I feel like it does, but Jesus Christ also exists as well. So I did like the aspect of venturing out the further in like the demonic setting of like the college campus. I thought that was a +1. However, the family's broken apart. Dalton is in college. Chris is a great character, except she does feel like a comedic relief for a scary movie, but it's like, why would you do that? For instance, Insidious was known to be like scary, 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 no laughing, like, oh my gosh, like in your feels. But like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe Patrick Wilson wanted her to be in the franchise as a comedic relief character. The grandma at least is in the marketing material, but has significantly less screen time. if you know what happens to her in the previous installments. And Rose, the beautiful Rose, which is the mother, they're just in all different places. Dalton's in college. The father is doing God knows what he's doing and like figuring himself out. He's barely with Dalton. He's barely with Rose. Rose is on some different house. They're not together until the end. And I'm not spoiling it for you. I'm just saying they're at different fronts. And that's the thing that did not work for me, because the first two movies, they were together, solving the evil, planting the evil, talking about evil, like let's get scared together. But now they're all separated, so it's hard to get connected. Yes, I get it. The argument could be made that it's a father-son relationship, but at the end of the day, it's like that void wasn't as strong in us as the whole family, as like the scary house, Rose being the wife, like the grandma Lee's, like all those core characters was part of the I Love Insidious franchise. And now that they took it away or has significantly less screen time, it doesn't work for me. Like, yes, you still get the amazing cutscenes, the cosplays, or the costumes, and some of the set designs are pretty cool, especially like the demonic forces, the sounds, the further, the red door, the demonic presence, everything is still there from Insidious. I just felt like it was toned down significantly from the other installments. Like the woman, that was really scary because it's all in different places. Like as an older guy now, I've been to haunted houses and I could see some of the haunted houses in here. I'm like, oh my God, like that's a room from the haunted house. That's a clown over there. That's a demonic, and it's crawling, they're all giggling. And yeah, I get it. And I like it that it's in college. He's drawing these paintings. There's a connection to his father, even though they're not close. There's still jumpy scares. It's still Insidious through and through, but it's not as good as the other previous installments. And I don't mean to be like mean on the film, but I'm just being very honest with you. Like even a guy like me that's scared of this type of stuff felt this was the weakest of the franchise. And I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to be like bad with you guys. It's just like I'm just being honest. Like I want movies to succeed. You guys know I always try to be half glass full, positive vibes, but at the end of the day, this movie, maybe it could be great in like Halloween, but I still prefer, I can't believe I'm saying this, I still prefer the first two Insidious to this. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this a C-. It's not a bad film and it's not a good one, but there's a lot of improvements that this movie could make. We're talking to the epic conclusion to the Insidious Lombard family is what they said on the trailers. Do I think they delivered it? No. Am I happy I got to saw this movie? Yeah. But at the end of the day, this isn't as good as an Insidious franchise. We're talking about top tier horror and you're like you just like lowered. This is downgrading, basically. It's like when you date someone, this is like a downgrade. I'm sorry to be mean, but this is what it is. If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much. Maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. And with that, take care, bye.